let's talk about something that's called zero of root of a polynomial. Okay. For example, if I give you a polynomial, um, if I give you a polynomial x square minus 4 equals to 0. Okay. And I tell you, put x is equal to minus 2 in this polynomial. What will you get?
Yeah, 4 minus 0. 5, 4 minus 4.
4 minus 4. And that is
0.
0. So that means x is equal to negative 2 is a 0 of the polynomial. Okay. What is the 0 of the polynomial? A 0 of the polynomial is that point or that number for which the value of the polynomial becomes 0. So we denote polynomials by some, usually we say p of x. That is the name of a polynomial. P of x means it is a polynomial in x. So it's going to be, let's say I say p of x is equal to x square minus 4. If if I want to put minus 2 in place of x, this thing, it will become p of minus 2. Okay.
This one.
Now in place of x, everywhere, wherever I have x, I have to put minus 2. So that means minus 2 squared minus 4, which is 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. So the value at which the polynomial becomes 0, that is called the 0 of the polynomial, or in other words, the root of the polynomial. Okay.
This one.
Okay. Now let's say I give you a polynomial p of x equals x plus 2. Okay. Now you have to check whether minus 2 and 2 are zeros of this polynomial.
Now
Check and
minus
tell
2
me.
is the polynomial and 2 is not.
Very good. So minus 2 is a 0 of the polynomial and 2 is not a 0 of the polynomial. Okay. Fine. Find the 0 of the polynomial 2x plus 1. How do we do it? Tell me, how are you going to solve it? What's the first step?
At 2x plus 1 is equal to 0.
Yes, we'll say p of x equals 0. That means 2 of x plus 1 equals 0. And then we will solve it. So what value of x we will get?
Now you take 1 to
Then hmm,
minus 1 by 2.
minus 1 by 2. So x is equal to minus 1 by 2 is a 0 of the polynomial. Okay, now the polynomials, or rather this equation that we have, this algebraic expression that we have, we saw in the previous class why it is called linear polynomial. So what happens is, when you put it on a graph, what shape are you going to get when you put 2x plus 1 on the graph?
Line.
You're going to get a straight line. Okay. Now let's take for example, x minus 4. Okay, p of x equals x minus 4. So that means it's going to be a line where we're going to do this. It's just a minute.
Now we can take any number as we like, right? For x.
Yeah,
So the result will still be the same.
sorry.
The result will still be the same.
For what are you talking about over here?
Ma'am, if I take x as another number like 1 and I keep doing it like 2, 3, will the result still be the same as 4 and 0?
See, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find what all points I will get for it on the line. Okay. So what we are doing here, let me make it clear to you. We have x minus 4 equals p of x, right? So p of x is, I'm going to call it y. Let me just call it y, okay? For simplicity, it's actually p of x. But when we put it on the graph, the x-axis becomes the variable x and the y-axis becomes p of x. So since it is the y-axis, that's why I am writing it as y, okay? Don't get confused, where did y come in the picture? Why I'm writing it only because this p of x is on the y-axis, okay? So what we are going to do here is we are going to put random values for x and for y. So we are going to put one value for x, any random value, and we are going to see what we are going to get for y. So what I did, and what's the easiest thing to do in this scenario when you have a linear equation, is first you put x as 0 and then you will get a value of y. Then you put y as 0 and then you will get a value of x. So that's what we have done. When you put, I'm going to make a table here. When you put x as 0, over here, if you put x as 0, what will you get? Y becomes,
4.
y doesn't become 4, y becomes minus 4. Okay. Are you getting it? Right? If you put x as 0, 0 minus 4 equals y. So what is y? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So first we put, you can put any value. You can put 1. If you try to put 1, it will be 1 minus 4 equals y. So that means y turns out to be minus 3. Okay. You can do that. Whatever value you put, you can get a value of y. But we try to put 0 because it just makes our calculation simple. So, and then we put y as 0. And then we see what will become the value of x. So if you have x minus 4 equals 0, what will x turn out to be? X will be 4, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So then we put these values. That means we put the value 0, comma minus 4. Okay, 0 and minus 4. Y is minus 4 at this point. So 0, comma minus 4 is this. Sorry. And 4, comma 0. That means when x is 0 and y is, sorry, when x is 4 and y is 0. So this is our second point. And then we join these two. This becomes our line x minus 4. Okay, clear? Now, the zero of a polynomial, there are two ways in which we can see a zero of a polynomial. One way is the algebraic way, how we can understand the zero of a polynomial, and the other is a geometric way of understanding the zero of a polynomial. Algebraically, what does zero of a polynomial mean? Zero of a polynomial means at, let's say I have some value, some polynomial, x cube minus 2x squared plus 1. Okay, I have this. I'm just writing it here as a random thing. You don't have to sit and solve it. Okay, for what value of x? What should my x be so that this entire thing turns out to be 0? Okay, so p of a equals 0. This a becomes the 0 of the polynomial. Is it clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Geometrically, what does 0 of a polynomial mean? It means that point at which y, the value of y, is 0. Or, in other words, that point at which the our line is crossing the x-axis, the point, or rather the value of y at the point where the line, sorry, value of x at the point where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, or in other words, the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So at which point is the line crossing the x-axis?
4.
4. So 4 is the 0 of the polynomial. Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So just because it is 0 of a polynomial doesn't mean it should be 0. Sometimes it can be 0, sometimes it need not be 0. So let me just show you an example where it can be 0 also and something else also. So let's say a polynomial is x square minus 2x.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, if the result is not 0, is it still 0 of the polynomial?
Result of what? Like this result is not 0?
Yes, ma'am.
No, then it's not a 0 of the polynomial.
Okay.
Okay. The definition of 0 of polynomial is that when you put that number, that 0, in place of x, the entire answer should come out to be equal to 0. That is the definition of 0 of a polynomial. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's see this one. P of x equals x square minus 2x. Now, what do we do here? Let me just give you a few numbers. Try putting in 0, 1, and 2 and tell me which of these is a 0 of this polynomial.
Ma'am, 0 is 0 of the polynomial.
Very good. 0, 0 for polynomial. Check for the others also.
Ma'am, 1 is not 0 of the polynomial, 2 is a 0 of the
2 is a 0 of the polynomial. So are we seeing how many zeros do we have in this case?
2.
2, right? So what do we see? What do we understand from this? We understand that we can have more than 1 0 for a polynomial. Okay, but can we ever have more than 1 0 for a linear polynomial? This is a linear polynomial. Can we have more than 1 0 for a linear polynomial?
Yes, ma'am.
We can. What did I tell you about 0 of the
No,
polynomial when it comes to graph? That the point,
at which the y-axis,
yeah,
the line
the
touches the
point,
y-axis.
yes, the point at which the line crosses the x-axis. Can a line, a straight line, cross the x-axis at more than one point?
No.
It can, whether it is like this, just a minute. Whether it is like this line is vertical, whether it is like this, whether it is like anything like this, it is only crossing the x-axis once, right?
Yes.
Because it is a straight line. So what do we understand from this? We understand
Linear
that
polynomial, you have 1 0.
a linear polynomial can only have 1 0. Okay, so can it have less than 1 0?
No.
No, it can't. So a linear polynomial can have only 1 0. But something that is not a linear polynomial, a polynomial of higher degree, a quadratic, cubic, and all, they can have more than 1 0s. Just like we saw over here, this is a quadratic polynomial. That means a polynomial of degree 2. And it has how many zeros? It has 2 zeros. Okay, is that clear?
More than 2, right?
Sorry,
Ma'am, it can have more than 2, right?
it can have more than 2 also. But I'll tell you something. Whatever the degree is, the number of zeros will not be more than that. Okay, if the degree is 2, that means if it is a quadratic polynomial, the number of zeros will not be more than 2. Actually,
Yes.
the thing is, this is something that you learn in higher classes, but I will still tell you anyway. There is something called the fundamental theorem of algebra. The fundamental theorem of algebra states that the number of zeros of a polynomial is exactly equal to the degree of the polynomial. Okay, but you will face an issue. Let's say you have, okay, let's say you have x square minus 4. This is a polynomial p of x. Can you guess what all will be the zeros of this polynomial?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you guess what all will be the zeros of this polynomial?
Ma'am, 2.
2 and we just did over here also. 2 and
Ma'am, 2 and
see, we have found one more zero over here.
minus 2.
2 and minus 2. So zeros of this polynomial are 2 and minus 2. Now let's take another quadratic polynomial x square plus 4. Now can you tell me zeros of this polynomial? What do you have to do? What do we have to do to find the zeros? We have to say p of x equals 0, hai na? Now try finding x square plus 4 equals 0. Try finding the value of x.
-2.
Minus 2. Put minus 2 in place of x square and tell me what you're getting. Put minus 2 in place of x square.
I'm 8.
You're getting 8, right? Because minus 2 square is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8, which is not 0. So minus 2 is a 0 of this polynomial or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Minus 2 is a
No, ma'am.
0 of this polynomial? No, it's not. So can you tell me what is the 0 of this polynomial?
I'm getting root minus 4 square. Root minus 4.
Root minus 4. And that is an imaginary, or it's a complex number. Okay. So in the first chapter, what did we study? We studied real numbers. Real numbers, and this number that we are getting over here, x is equal to square root of minus 4. This is not a real number. This is called a complex number. Real numbers are those numbers uh, which you can have a square root of a positive number. Okay, square root of a positive number. This is a real number. But when you have a negative number under the square root, then this becomes a complex number which you will study in 11th grade. Okay, you won't study it in 9th or 10th. So that's why I just wanted to show you that it's not that this polynomial doesn't have any zeros itself. Okay, it might look like this doesn't have any zeros, but it does have zeros which are complex numbers, but it doesn't have any real zeros. So we will say p of x doesn't have any real roots or real zeros.
So, ma'am, is this
So are
still
you
considered
understanding?
0?
Sorry.
Is this still considered the 0 of the polynomial fx?
Yeah, it is considered the zero of the polynomial, but the issue is that at this point you haven't studied about complex numbers yet, so you can't give this as an answer. To be on the safer side, what you should do is, you should, in your answer, you should write, if you have such a question, you should write that it doesn't have any real roots. If you want to further write what are the complex roots, then you can write that complex roots are like this. Okay, but you have to mention that it doesn't have any real roots. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let's come to, and Abdul Jabbar, I want you to please complete all your homework on time. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when we meet in the next class, which is going to be day after tomorrow, inshallah, you should have completed all of the pending homework.
Yes,
Not just this homework, the homework which is pending from previous classes as well. So now let's come to exercise 2.2. Okay. So let's do one question over here. Or I think these are all pretty easy, so you can do them yourself, but let's just do one. The first one is your homework. Second one, let's do the second part.
Yes.
Yeah. P of t equals 2 plus t plus 2t square minus t cube. You have to find p of 0, p of 1, and p of 2. Yeah. P of 0 first.
P of 0
What
is,
is hmm,
P of 0 is not a 0. P of
P of 0 is what?
ma'am, uh, P of 0 is equal to 2.
P of 0 is what?
Is 2, ma'am.
2, right? P of 0 is 2. Then P of 1 is
4, ma'am.
hmm, P of 2 is
4, ma'am.
okay, good. Let's do the fourth part now. P of x equals x minus 1, x plus 1. You have to find P of 0, P of 1, and P of 2.
One, ma'am.
Oh, P of 0 is 1. How is P of 0 1? It is
Ma'am,
0
I used
minus 1
identity.
multiplied by 0 plus 1. So it's 0 minus 1 is negative 1 and 0 plus 1 is positive 1, and we are multiplying them. So what is minus 1 into plus 1? It is negative
Ma'am,
1.
I tried using this thing,
Right, using what?
the identity.
Acha, so you did x square minus 1 square, which is again 0 square minus 1, which is 0 minus 1, which is again minus 1. Getting
Right.
it? Hmm. See, it doesn't matter which method you use. In math, you're always going to get the same answer. If you use identity, if you use a formula, if you don't use it, no matter which method you use, if your answer is correct, it should be the same. Now P of 1, what is P of 1? P of 1 is not 2. Check again.
0, ma'am.
0. And what is P of 2?
Three, ma'am.
Okay, good. Now, also Abdul Jabbar, how come you're late in almost every class? Today you were half an hour late.
Ma'am, I didn't check if we have class, and then my father messaged me.
Okay. See, we have class on every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay.
Yes, okay, ma'am.
At what's the time at your place? At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So please, next class may be on time, inshallah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's do just one small question and then we'll be good to go. You have to find the zero of the polynomial. Question number 4. Okay. Question number 3 is homework for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Question number 4. Which part shall we do? Okay, let's do the 7th part. You have to find the zero of this polynomial. P of x is equal to cx plus d, where c is non-zero, c and d are real numbers. Yeah, go on. Hmm. Any luck yet? What do we do first? We do p of x equals 0. That means cx plus d equals 0. Then
Ma'am, we take D the other side.
then it becomes
Minus D.
cx equals minus d. Then what happens?
Ma'am, we take C the other side in.
Then what does it become?
Minus D by C.
Minus d by c. So this is the root or zero of that polynomial.
And we can
And
have
you understand, huh?